there's a level of disconnect some people have regarding the act of fraud. They see it as a hustle, something you have to do if you want to make money. What is something in question? It's barely talked about for what it is, deceiving people to collect their money. This is very intentional, and is also part of the reason why scamming, despite how wrong it is, continues to rise. But why is it so? First of all, we need to understand how these scams occur. The most notable ones are dating/romance scams, where the scammer presents himself as a romantic interest to an unsuspecting victim, with fake pictures, documents, and all sorts to deceive the victim into giving the scammer money and other valuables. These impersonation scams aren't limited to romance, as scammers impersonate to pretend to be business people, celebrities, family members, bank officials, government workers, anything you can think of, just to trick people. Now that we understand how these scams happen, the next thing is to understand why they happen at a rampant rate. Are people just generally wicked? Clients, maga, mae. These are just some of the words that are used to refer to the victim of these scams in Nigerian songs. You will barely hear the victims being called people, men, women. Why is that so? It is because the physical, social, and economic gap between the scammers and the victims results in the scammers not seeing the victims as people with real lives, but as marks they can get money from. It is easier to live with the reality of scamming someone you are calling a client than if you accept the person is real. It is very easy to call scammers wicked. Now, I'm not saying they are not wicked, but I want to highlight a specific type of scammer that I've started to observe more and more: the rural scammer. Born in the village or a similar localized area, their opportunities are very limited from the time they are born into the world. Subpar education, amenities, conditions reduce their avenues to make money. Telling a local family lad to learn a tech skill without access to constant electricity, the means to purchase a laptop, or a time to learn these skills is just absurd. Most of these people's lives will end without access to these things. But things are changing with the rise of social media, especially this hyperactive, inflated, in-your-face, addictive form that we have today. Now, these local lads are seeing people living better lives, driving fancy cars, going to good restaurants, and they want a piece of that action. They look around and there is no way out. Then they are inevitably introduced to scamming. To them, this is the easiest and the only way out, so they do it. Their lives have conditioned them to make this choice. To them, their victims aren't human beings, they are tickets to driving the Benz. Thank you for watching this video, and bye bye.